I'm Luke Summerhaze, and I love Paris. Last month, I made Zubat's episode my Halloween special, on the grounds that bats are vaguely spooky and Halloweeny. If only my schedule was 1 week ahead, I could have had a genuinely scary monster on the correct week. Alas, it was not meant to be. Paris is a giant bug, and a frightening realistic zombie, all in one misleadingly cute package. Make sure your trousers are tucked into your socks and get ready for some real nasty creepy crawlies. Paris is not named for the capital of France, nor the pretty boy of Greek epic poetry, but is an abbreviation of the word parasite. This is all well and good, but in one point in development the name was Parasite spelled with a Y, which is delightfully and cheesily 90s. It makes me think of overly serious comic books about dudes with long black trench coats. The same part of me that genuinely feels excited about the new Venom movie would have loved a Pokemon called Parasite with a Y. Parasect, combining parasite and insect, does go some way to redressing this injustice. Paris is a squat orange bug with mushrooms growing on its back. As a kid, I think I assumed it was based on some kind of spider. Thought to myself, that's strange, and moved on. I've since been informed that it is actually based on a cicada, a common insect in warm climates and especially here in Japan, thanks to Bulbapedia. As for the parasitic, symbiotic nature of the mushrooms, which are called Tochikaso, if you were wondering, we'll get to that. I do want to pause for a second here and give a shout out to my childhood friend Paul, with whom I built a friendship almost entirely on our mutual love of Pokemon. I now realise this is true of almost everyone I've ever become close to, albeit sometimes swapping Pokemon for Nintendo in a more general sense, and whose favourite pocket monster was Paris. Eventually, Paris evolves into Parasect. This is where things turn dark. The mushroom on Paris' back expands until it takes up almost the entirety of the bug's body. The life leaves the eyes. The host has given itself over to the parasite. There is a very real, very terrifying, real-world phenomenon which inspires this Pokemon. Cordyceps are a strain of fungus which infect insects and compel them to climb as high as possible. When they reach, for example, the top of a plant, the mushroom bursts from their body, killing the insect and finding a place to spread more spores. I first became aware of this terrifying fungus in Resident Evil 4, where it was among the unlockable notes and materials. It's far more famous thanks to The Last of Us, in which the entire zombie plague is very explicitly based on the idea of a cordyceps infection which infects humans. If the idea of Paris being possessed, turned into some kind of zombie, by the mushrooms on its back wasn't terrifying on its own, the fact that it is so close to reality really drives it home. I sometimes recommend going elsewhere on the internet to find amusing memes about the Pokemon I discuss, or YouTube videos about the competitive side of the game. In this instance, I'd recommend checking out the David Attenborough segment on the cordyceps. Assuming you aren't too squeamish, of course. Friend of the show, Andrew Rice, was appropriately spooked by Paris and Parasect. He had this to say.
Hi, Luke, that's Pokemon. Today I'm a little bit scared because we're talking about Paris. No, he's not so bad. He's a bit creepy with his big beady eyes and little mouth. But frankly, what we need to discuss is Parasect. Parasect is a terrifying creature. Look at the eyes. What happened to Paris's cute little beady eyes? are all gone. Now he's just a big mushroom-backed creature. Don't go near him. You don't know what will happen if you do. Just stay away. What's that noise? It's coming! It's coming! Help!
I do feel bad for Paris. I can't deny he was a cute critter at first, and that he has a rough time of it later on. At the same time, I just have to admit, this is a cool, badass, terrifying idea for a Pokemon. Music for Luke Loves Pokemon was created by Jonathan Cromie. Artwork for the show is by Katie Groves. If you're interested and you enjoy the show, please do give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, and share this podcast with your Pokemon-loving friends. If you have anything to say about the next couple of Pokemon we'll be covering, Venonat and Diglett, let me know all about it. I'm on Twitter and Facebook at LukeLovesPKMN, and you can email the show at lukelovespkmn@gmail.com. I love Paris. And remember, I love you too.